celebrates World Cancer Day. Actual date of World Cancer Day was on 4th February. Sakta IFO is the social cultural organization based in Bremen. We work on various projects and yoga is one of the projects of Sakta IFO. Therefore, we thought to organize international seminar on yoga for cancer care. As we know that 40% of the world's population will receive a cancer diagnosis in their lifetime, and 1.4 million people with cancer patients in Germany. 17 million new cases of cancer were diagnosed worldwide each year, and survival rate is 16.8% approximately. The cancer survivor population is large and growing due to the advancement in treatment. However, cancer treatment causes short and long-term side effects and require management to improve long-term health and survival. American Cancer Society and the US Department of Health and Human Service recommends between 150 to 320 minutes of yoga per week to speed recovery and defend against cancer occurrence and reoccurrence. So today we have experts from various fields and they will guide us about yoga and cancer care. I welcome all distinguished speakers and our respected Vice Consul, Mr. Gulshan Dhingra sir, and our guide, Dr. Ishwar Baswa Reddy ji, in this event, and including all the speakers. First of all, the rituals. I welcome on this occasion Mr. Gulshan Dhingra sir to give the inaugural address. Mr. Dhingra sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mishra ji.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste, good afternoon, and guten tag. Dear Dr. Rajesh Mishra, eminent speakers, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of our Consul General and members of the Consulate General of India, Hamburg, I felicitate Dr. Rajesh Mishra for having grasped the opportunity of organizing a virtual event on such an important occasion, namely the World Cancer Day that was celebrated on 4th February 2021. I also take this opportunity to welcome on board Dr. Ishwar Baswaradhi, who is the Director, Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, New Delhi, Professor Dr. Amina Atter from European Medical Association, Germany, Dr. TK Sham Ganpat, who is the HOD Department of Yoga and Ayurvedic Studies, and Dr. Amia Kunte from Department of Stem Cell Transplantation, Hamburg University Hospital. I welcome you all on board. And a word about World Cancer Day. I would say that World Cancer Day is an international awareness day celebrated every 4th February since the year 2000. It's a global initiative led by the Union for International Cancer Control. It is an opportunity to rally the international community to end the injustice of preventable suffering from cancer. World Cancer Day is a campaign built to resonate, inspire change, and mobilize action long after the day has passed. And this is precisely what Dr. Mishra and other speakers are doing today. The year 2020 was a historic year, marking the 20th anniversary of World Cancer Day. The theme of World Cancer Day 2021 is I am and I will. And one of the mottos of the theme is together all our actions matter. This is a 3-year campaign for creating an impact that was started in 2019. It shows us that our actions, however small, have an impact on everyone around us, within our neighborhoods, communities, and cities. With the pandemic affecting the world nowadays, cancer affected people have had a hard time dealing with the ailment. The Union for International Cancer Control highlighted this issue and expressed gratitude towards the medical workers like doctors, nurses, paramedics, as well as researchers, advocates, and other caregivers in oncology from around the world. They also voiced praise for the government agencies who worked this past year through the COVID-19 pandemic unrelentingly. Friends, when we choose to come together, even during an occasion like this, we can help achieve what we all wish for. That is a healthier, brighter world without cancer. Together, all our actions matter. Therefore, virtual event by way of seminar on yoga for cancer care may be a drop in the ocean, but it will surely have a positive ripple effect, thus motivating and empowering others to raise awareness and act as a powerful reminder that we all have a role to play in reducing the global impact of cancer. No single person, no single organization, and no single country can beat cancer on its own. Let us all join in this fight by being proactive volunteers and torchbearers of our society and organizations. Finally, I would like to commend Dr. Rajesh Mishra's initiative in organizing World Cancer Day 2021. I look forward to a lively session today, which I'm sure would largely focus on yoga and yoga techniques in mitigating or reducing the suffering of cancer patients. Though Dr. Mishra has conceptualized this event at a rather short notice, I'm wondering it would have been better to include some yoga workshops relevant to the occasions. Never mind, wishing you all a wonderful evening and a knowledgeable evening. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Definitely, we will next time we will organize yoga workshop on these occasions.
Yeah.
Today we have our guide, motivator, Dr. Ishwar Baswa Reddy ji. And whenever we do, whenever we do anything, Dr. Reddy sir is always with us. So first of all, I welcome Dr. Ishwar Baswa Reddy ji. Dr. Ishwar Baswa Reddy ji is the director of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India since June 2005. Dr. Baswa Reddy has participated in more than 320 national international conferences and seminars and presented research papers. He has delivered more than 1,000 lectures, come demonstrations, and conducted yoga workshops in different academic institutions in India and abroad. So now, Dr. Ishwar Baswa Reddy sir.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Most respected Mr. Gulshan Dhingraji, Vice Consulate, Consulate General of India, Hamburg, Professor Dr. Amina, my esteemed yoga friend, Dr. Rajesh Mishraji, my another esteemed colleague, Dr. Ganpatji, Dr. Amiya, and other panelists, and all the yoga enthusiasts, yoga lovers joining this webinar through various social media platforms. My pranams to you all. Kindly accept my pranams and greetings. At the outset, I congratulate the Consulate General of India and also Sri Rajesh Mishraji, who is running a Shaktai, one of the important yoga institution in Germany from last several years. And their efforts to organize this webinar on the eve of, though it was on 4th, on the eve of Cancer Day, the 4th February. I congratulate their noble efforts, and I'm very happy to share only a few of, because it's a short duration, other experts are has to contribute. I will share some of my views and experiments and experiences, and also the initiative of Government of India to tackle the cancer, and particularly how yoga can help. First of all, before coming to the topic yoga, many of us, in my opinion, in the recent last 4-5 years, in India, we are emphasizing on the factors leading to cancer. So, most importantly, pesticides, fertilizers use, plastic and others, and also heavy metals in the drugs what we use. There are many other causes than polluted air and malnutrition, so many other factors which are causing root causes for the cancer. That is one of the aspects many people were not addressed. I visited Germany twice in 2019, and I've shared many of our experiences in two of my very elaborate visits. And there, Germany is spending 3.7 or 3.5 or something like that, more than 3% of our total budget for the preventive healthcare. Therefore, it's a high time to emphasize on this, though it is not related to yoga. So I start addressing this as a policy maker in the Government of India. This is one thing where yoga can bring lot of awareness in terms of food, because yoga practices is not only some asanas. The diet plays an important role in the entire yoga protocol. Therefore, we are emphasizing on proper diet will help us to prevent many of the cancer. The second one is during the cancer. So once it is diagnosed, and there are several factors. Most important factor is the fear, the anxiety, and also psychological factors. So we find that some of the yoga techniques, yoga nidra, relaxation, and deep breathing, and meditation, all will help to improve the quality of life and also overcome the fear factor. And there are some very, very important breathing techniques, and which may be converted later on to the pranayama, where we energize, especially in the second or third stage. So there is a lot of help from the research studies shows they are very helpful for the cancer patient in the management of cancer along with the drugs or medication. It may be very, very important to regulate their diet and lifestyle, which yoga helps. And third most important, and we have a lot of research papers, Dr. Ganpat may present one few of them and many other medical professionals, that is in rehabilitation. So most importantly, so even some after chemo, after radiotherapy, after many things, rehabilitation is one of the important thing. Nowadays in my institute also, so out of though we are in yoga institution, out of 100, at least 2 or 3% are coming across the cancer. At least 5 to 6% of the family members of my institute, these things, they are diagnosed as a cancer. So that means, so I am seeing their life very closely, their medication, etc. And myself in my family, so one of my niece has got twice cancer, but I first time without simple operation and with small no chemotherapy, we manage it for 6 years. Ultimately, she got breast cancer. So that was in the third stage. We got operated. Now it is 4 years. She's completely working well with yoga. She never left yoga practice. So now she's sound well, living well, and only thing medications are dosages are very less. I can have a lot of these things in the rehabilitation process. So this is the general this thing. One is about preventive measures, about our lifestyle, about the food, water, and other things, and the usage of many other things which are root cause of the cancer, and especially the drugs what we take, which contains heavy metals, definitely are the one of the major factors for the cancer. That awareness campaign needs to be generated across the globe. It is not only the case of India or Germany or anything. It is a global factor, and in the years to come, it is going to be increased because we are not ready to change our lifestyle. So this government of India is emphasizing on lifestyle. That's why in the International Day of Yoga, we not only brought common yoga protocol, but also we start on lifestyle, proper lifestyle, healthy diet, breathing exercises, and even at workplace we are bringing yoga break 5 minutes twice a day. We start advocating yoga so that we can overcome the stress and anxiety, etc. Now come to the yoga practices. How yoga helps? First of all, if you see the very nature of yoga, if you see the, if I, because many of us here are modern medical doctors, they don't understand the Sanskrit shlokas. But I am a student of physics, I am a science student. But if I study the entire, the yoga sutras, or which are in the formula type, like mathematics, so they are linked and very, very subtle science. They are very scientific. While advocating these things, Patanjali says, Ashuddhikshaye, that means detoxification by doing yoga. So it helps to detoxify at physical level, physiological level, and psychological and emotional level. And practices are advocated. Then it comes to Jnanadip. It gives the proper knowledge of myself and the universe. Then it helps in the last one, Viveka Khyati. I'll be established in the state of Ananda, where we can overcome all kinds of sufferings or pain. So that is the state where we are going to. These are the three important sutras, benefits has been given by following Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali. So how it helps to? First of all, I use in the cancer care or either in the management or in the um rehabilitation process. First of all, I advised detoxification processes, whether they need some respiratory cleansing or uh, gastrointestinal cleansing. So whatever it may be, there are several cleansing practices. So we advocate them. So especially the many of the cancer drugs are affecting our digestion and metabolism, and everybody knows that. Therefore, we are simply using not only Shat Karmas, there are certain very, very subtle Kriyas in yoga which we are using, even Marjari Asana, Pavanamukta Asana. So, there is a systematic rhythm we made according to the nature of cancer they had, because there are various types of cancer. Accordingly, we devise the detoxification processes. Most importantly, if it is not abdomen, we prefer Kapal Bhati and even Bhastrika in a Kriya type we are using. Therefore, our frontal sinuses are open for the free flow of breathing. So, second one is we are going for diet modification. So, according to the drugs they take, so with a very yogic method and also modern nutrition methods. So we plan for the diet. So the diet plays an important role. The second aspect we choose. Third one is postural modification. According to, because as you give patient, every patient different dosages, different medication protocol. In yoga also, it is individual specific and disease specific protocol we devise if he is a very good expert. Here I am giving the general guidelines. There we devise some of the important postures which are in standing and in the supine lying postures majorly. So we try to avoid in the sitting and also many times in the prone lying. So therefore, the alignment, the postural modification will help to channelize the breathing where there are the blocks. Then it is a breathe modification or pranic energization techniques. So even in the with the Nimans, we conducted many research where it is called regulated deep breathing helps to overcome the stress and anxiety, and also it improves the brain functions. So that results help me. So once it is the channelization of energy, that is the proper breathing through left and nostril, and yogic deep breathing helps is to energize the body and mind and bring the integration between mind body, what we are talking about mind body medicine. This is the fourth one. So once it brings that, people start feeling the relaxation. So relaxation is very very important for the even the during the treatment and also in the rehabilitation process. So I'm giving the technology. The relaxation happens, then a good teacher help them to concentrate. Various types of concentration methods are there. So its prolonged concentration leads to meditation or dhyana. So once a person enter into the state of dhyana, he start modifying his lifestyle. He overcome the what are the root causes of his disease. So because of his lifestyle, because of his food habits, because of his medication what he is taking, he started educating himself. Till that time, we may give because of fear, because of pressure, he may understanding, but his own self, we have seen this in the patients. So we have more than 1,000 such type of case reports. So they start modifying their lifestyle. They start regulating these things, and we got a very very good results in the cancer care. So especially the I know in the 19 in Bhopal gas tragedy, many of these poses of the senior IS officers has got affected, and most of the women I treated nearly 8 to 9 IS officers' wife or even IS officers who have got cancer because of that Bhopal gas tragedy in 1992. 90s. So then now even 18 years. So they tried anything, and except one or two, they died because of later this thing just 3 4 years back. But still, six of them are surviving, and I taught them yoga in 2006, 2007, and still they are practicing. They are keeping healthy. So just have a lot of case reports like this. This procedure I follow. One is detoxification, diet modification, postural modifications according to the individuals. We need to study and meditate, breathe modification, relaxation techniques, and concentration, which leads to meditation. Meditation brings a lifestyle change. So we need to upgrade, modify this protocol device for an individual frequently, at least once in 15 days. So once they go to 3 to 6 months of regular practice, so it needs that much of time. So 3 to 6 of month regular practice, it become a very very feasible, and energy level increases. In the entire cancer patients, there are several side effects. One is the impact of the heavy drugs, what they use, especially the chemotherapy. When they are taking the chemotherapy, it is one of the worst, just like a hell. Everybody who ever experienced that, it's one of the biggest punishment in the entire life. Therefore, during that chemotherapy period, so we want to encourage the patients, so relax them, where we need the philosophy of yoga. So now I'm talking about the practice of yoga. Practice of yoga, it is for the physical, physiological, and psychological. Philosophical yoga is overcome all these things. And what is life? Many people just in the we are doing the research to and fro, etc. But I'm a successful practitioner of yoga because at the end, wherever it is necessary, I apply and use and practice the philosophical principles of yoga, which is envisaged in our ancient yoga texts. which helped me personally to overcome many of the sufferings or pain. And also, I not only cancer patients, especially the anxiety, diabetes, and thyroid cases are increasing. And nowadays, in the pandemic, we devised a wonderful yoga practices, and which has nothing than 28 days of regular pranayama practice. Half an hour, it works like a vaccine. So in all the medical professional who are practicing our devised half an hour pranayama practice, they none of them has got out of 100, none of them got COVID-19. But in another one out of 100, 8 people, healthcare professionals, have got the COVID patients. So that is the effect. Not even a single person who have got the COVID. It's a wonderful experiment. Maybe 1 or 2% may come in the rare cases. That will as a vaccine, as a preventive measures. So why I'm mentioning here this is yoga practices are very, very useful, but only thing nowadays we are using them as an exercise. We are using them just like a breathing. We are using them aligning with these things. But if you go to the Yoga Sutra, and there is clear indication of very scientific methods has been explained, and in Tantra literature, they have been advocated how to channelize the internal, that is our anatomy and physiology. So only thing is now we develop in a yoga, we have to translate or we have to give a report to the modern medical professional to make them understand. It is not wrong because they have come from the different background. So it is our duty to convince them. So we have to translate them or we have to present our findings in their language so that they can understand it better and use them better. With these opening remarks, so I think I'm eager to listen to others. These are the very, very interesting findings. Yoga can help in the prevention, and yoga can help in the management. Yoga can help in the rehabilitation, and yoga philosophy will help in all the aspects of life where we can live better what we are. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. So thank you very much, sir. Your lecture always is learning for us as a yoga student. So we are also yoga aspirants. So I always learn from you, from your lecture. And this is the opportunity to learn this way. Thank you, sir. Now, our next speaker is Professor Dr. Amina Ether. Actually, on the 4th, we spoke to Dr. Amina ji about this thing, and she said, okay, why not you organize? So I said, let's do then. And then on 4th, we decide we will do. And so thank you, Amina ji, for this motivation and supports. So Professor Dr. Amina Ether ji is 20 years experience.
Mishra ji, आप कुछ मत बोलिए. Let it be an informal discussion. That is better. You know, they can read about me. So is it? I'm sorry, like I'm just interrupting you to introduce me. Just as simple is enough.
Okay, then please go ahead.
I was just listening to Dr. Ishwar.
Then please go ahead.
He met in Istanbul. I think he had his presentation in Istanbul conference 2 years back. So I think we met in Istanbul once. And Dr. The consulate is very supportive. When Mishra ji asked, we want to do this. So that is one good thing what I see from the consulate of is they will not say no, they'll bring this whole concept together. And when Mishra ji called me up, we had a panel discussion on 4th of February with cancer survivors, because I'm myself one of the cancer survivors. Of course, when some of them who look at me, who have seen me 3 years back, they said, what happened to you? I mean, I was like 105 kilos, balloon and all those kinds of a thing, bloated up, something like that. So when he asked me, I said, why don't we bridge this gap of East and the West, where yoga is not yoga is a tradition in India, but yoga is a wellness tool in the Europe and in US. So I said, why don't we come together to have a discussion on how it is working? There are studies going on with the genomic analysis. I think we have Dr. Ameya. He's from Stem Cells and Genomics. Hello, doctor is also there, so that's good.
Yes, he is.
He's here. And also I have the other two doctors. I saw their topics as well. And here I feel like the moment when you say yoga, it's like putting the hair tied on the top, holding this signature or standing on one leg. This concept of yoga, when you speak to a German, say, oh no, I can't stand on one leg. The moment you say you are going to teach yoga, they'll say, I can't stand on one leg. I say, no, yoga is not only standing on one leg, right? And I can't sit on the ground. And this were the concepts and how to bridge between. So, Mishra ji, good, you have this platform here. Like, for example, the Western world or the Eastern world, like always it is divided. When we say Om, when you enchant Om in yoga or whatever, when they call from the Istanbul or from those places where you have zikr, where you also have something like that, they look into two different concepts. Like I think probably if you heard Professor Bhushan Patwardhan's talk, from Om to yoga, from Om to genome, from the east and the west, from the sun rises to the sunset. So when you see the Eastern world, it is more creative, it's more holistic, it's more inclusive, it's more qualitative, and it is like intuitive. They don't go without an intuition, and it's more spiritual. But when you compare to the West, it's more structural, analytical. Then you have when you compare like structural and analytical, compare it to systemic and creative, and then you have a holistic approach. They say, we see the whole person as a system. That's why it's not only the pranayam or breathing. You also look into the diet. You also look into the environment. You also give a counseling. When a patient or when a person who is sick comes to a doctor or a physician in India, there is an what we call it as, there is an interaction between the consultant and the person who's taking this. So they are more holistic. They're thinking, they'll ask, okay, how is your son? If a lady who is between 70 comes, how is your daughter-in-law if she has a son? So you look into a holistic approach. But whereas when you look into the Western world or the North world or something like this on the European side, there is something called as reductive. You only reduce to a person. Okay, fine. Then inclusive, we include everything. But in the Western thing, there is restrictive mode. And here it is qualitative. You look into here it is quantification, number of symptoms, number of procedures, because it's controlled by the insurance. Then you have on the Eastern world, intuition. There is something called as intuition. They say, I don't know, superstitious or something. You say, okay, dahi shakkar kha ke aapko bahar jana hai. Okay, that is something called intuition, but there is a science behind it. In the Western world, there is a calculation. Then you have in the Eastern world, there's spiritualism, where the yoga and the concepts of meditation come into spiritualism, whether it is yoga, zikr, or any religion or caste, or whatever it is. There is an inclination towards the oneness. That's why, and then when you come into the Western side, unless and until you prove it experimentally, it doesn't go beyond it. So it's like, I always like Professor Bhushan Patwardhan when he says from Om to genome. So when you have an Om that is also related to something which is called as an experimental further on, then why are we considering the modern biomedicine considered superior than the traditional medicine? Always, I don't know, I always say when I'm talking to that, gore chale gaye, lekin goro ki gulami nahi gayi. So something like that, I keep on saying, sorry, I'm not against racism or something. So this is one. And we have seen a couple of cases. If we bring yoga as an adjoint therapy, we are not claiming that yoga is treating cancer. We are not claiming yoga is treating diabetes. We are not claiming yoga is, yoga does this. But if we bring yoga on the scientific basis as an adjoint treatment, if somebody is going through chemotherapy, for example, for me, I can speak about myself. Yes, I wasn't able to get up on the bed, but I was doing the breathing exercise, inward and outward, which you can term it as pranayam, whatever it is. Yes, Nasya. Nasya is a very good tool for sinusitis. But if you just say, okay, this is Nasya, this is Mukha Bhyanga, if you combine it with the normal treatment, if you say, okay, like how you put, when they give a prescription for a person, so if you say this is a yoga, exercise which is prescribed for this. So we need to have an assertive monograms to design this tool. So probably that would be my thought. You say, okay, this person has diabetes. So we also prescribe, for example, on the borderline diabetes, where you need exercises. If we say, okay, this, and then personalize that yoga exercise according to their environment. Nowadays, people don't sit down. You know, everybody has a sofa, but if you can customize according to their personal needs, I'm not asking to deviate from the traditional methods or the classical literature, but if you can make it more comfortable to a person accepting. So once I was teaching yoga to a person, she loves this Bollywood music. I said, okay, we will take the Bollywood music and put that music only instead of this, whatever the other traditional method, and you do it. For me, the most important is she enjoys doing the positions. She enjoys doing the exercise. If she's not like, no, I have to hold like this only, aise hi haath rehna hai, aise nahi hoga, aise nahi, because in India, our fingers are flexible. But when you come to the Eastern world, they are not more with the thing. Even they can't eat with the hand because they are not used to it. So probably this would be my thought. I did not prepare any scientific presentation. So we are looking here, giving yoga or the breathing exercise techniques as along with the meditation as a module for an adjoint therapy. Along with the treatment, we are giving this. So integrative oncology department, which is in Berlin and which is in Bonn, from 2021, we started it as a complete compendium, along with the breathing exercise, along with the diet and nutrition, along with the herbs, what we put it as phytochemicals. We are designing a particular personalized component, and the predictive diagnosis is with genetics. So obviously we are seeing whole genome sequencing. Then we bring on with the regenerative therapies. So Dr. Amey would be like surprised with the stem cells and how can the breathing techniques help in the good absorption of the oxygen. So reducing oxidative stress. So if Dr. Ishwar, my thing is, if we can bridge this gap, if we can bring the modern medical experts, like I don't want to say modern medical, I can say that structural experts, structural physicians, to combine with the traditional medicine practitioners, to combine with the yoga expert, to make a template, to make a module. You already have the Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. If we combine that, if we combine the technique and you say, okay, this is a particular breathing technique and it gives a breathing pattern, just like we measure the sleep pattern. Just we measure the sleep pattern when they're sleeping, right? In India, we don't need to tell that if this person is snoring or not. We suddenly ask a wife, is your husband snoring? Haan, raat bhar to ye garate marte rehte hain. But in Europe, you need a sleeping test, you need an apnea test. But in India, we don't need an apnea test. If we can make a multi-centered clinical trial, because Mishra ji is already teaching yoga there, if we can combine this with a university, right? And if we can do a fundamental research with, so Dr. Amey is there, stem cells, genetic analysis, yoga exercises, if you say this breathing techniques, certain techniques which are adaptive for the environment here in Germany. So that's why I said, yes, we can have it. It may work for me. Maybe I'm a survivor for cancer, but I cannot say that yoga was the reason that I survived. I'm a survivor because it was a part of it. It was one portion of it. 2 hours I walk in the morning. I don't know whether I walk for 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers, but 2 hours I walk. I just start from the house and I come back. 2 hours is my walking. Then I have half an hour of my breathing, which whether you can put it as pranayam. Yes, I do Mukha Abhyanga every day. I do Nasya every day. That's why you can see my tears. Also, I'm anti-aging. It's anti-aging. I cannot say I'm speaking about my own testimonials because sharing the other person's data, I'm not allowed here in Germany. The Mishra ji knows it. So yes, probably it will be boring if I'm only talking and if we can have an interaction and introduction. So I would leave the rest of the time where we have, because other speakers would have had the presentation. So Mishra ji, I would like to more interact. I'm a person like this, so more of interaction. So I would love to wait for others. Because scientific papers, I can mail it to everybody. You can sit at your ease. And Sunday afternoon is not a good day for scientific papers. Dr. Amey, do you accept it?
Therefore, I was also in a casual mood, not casual, but I spoke spontaneously. I have papers, and as you mentioned, we worked. Dr. Sham is there.
Yeah.
He will present, and we worked with cancer hospital, especially now the director of CCRYN, Dr. Raghavendra Rao. He worked for more than 10 years or more in cancer care in the modern medical concern, and now he is the director also CCRYN, and we also worked. So, but for your information, madam, rightly said, we never said when patient comes, patient is more important than the system. So what is survival is more important. There we always have a complementary medicine. So yoga is not complementary. I never claim, we never claim. Yoga is only a standalone treatment methodology. One. The second one is, but yoga plays a vital role. We have a statistics for that. So I personally have nearly 1,000 case studies, very well documented case studies, not one or two. With that, now I become very experts in like this. We generate the confidence in the, because in the modern medical you have the disease specific and symptomatic medicine, but here yoga is both psychological and physiological. So it is very difficult to understand, but with our expertise, when you move the body regarding the prana, I analyze your psychological and emotional states. That is the beauty of yoga. So very experts can understand, we treat that level. Yoga for me, that, not your postures or pranayama, what you are talking about. On that basis, I am slowly, it needs time. I am using these asana pranayama as just a tool to enter into their subtle body. This is the really technique. I don't want to speak, but we have several research studies to and fro, etc., to convince. That's why in the beginning I said, only thing we have to convince the modern medicine or the medical person, especially in the West, they need the evidences, hardcore evidences. So double blind studies and so many things are there, and that's going on. But as you,
How can we create a placebo for yoga, doctor? We cannot
yes,
clear. That's why I said there is two different concepts. One is quantitative, one is qualitative. One is
qualitative.
holistic, one is structural. See,
Yes.
pranayam is just a little bit, a drop in the ocean of the whole science of yoga. I'm not putting yoga as a wellness. I'm saying science of yoga, right?
Yes, definitely.
The huge science
No.
of yoga. So only what we have to generate is publish the publications in their language. Sometimes,
Yes.
we have to speak in the language of the patient coming to us. So the same way we have to speak in the language of the Europeans, because they want the reference. The moment even what you put on the Facebook is a publication for them. Even what you put on Twitter is a publication to them. Even if we review the case studies, what the experts are posting on the Twitter and Facebook, that itself becomes a huge publication.
Yes, I 100%.
This is only we are lacking. See,
Yes.
we can have good publications, we can have good, but all of us have to come in hand.
I do agree with you, madam. Only one, you had given a very good example of soaring to examine whether. So, but you see, to make aware of Western people, it took more than 6 decades. So
They
now
cannot, you cannot convince them. Even another 6 decades, you cannot convince them.
yes. So that's the mindset is there, and it will. I do agree. That's why in India now we are going for the clinical trials and etc. And government is also emphasizing. You referred with Bhushan Patwardhanji. Now he is the UGC vice chairman, and now almost
I know him since 2007. So always we used to
yes.
have this thing.
So we are doing a lot of clinical trials. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ishwar. I
Okay,
think
Mr.
this would be wonderful. Dr. May is here. I think you can go with the next speaker. So we have time for this kind of a discussion. Unmute, Mishra ji. Unmute.
Thank you very much. And I would like to request all the speakers, please put the camera on so that I'll take one group photo. So if someone, Parminder ji. Yeah. Thank you. Just 1 minute. So. Thank you.
Mishra ji, एक अकेली lady को आपने सबके from last 3 days, I'm the only lady in all the panel discussions.
So
Yeah, Vishal.
Our next speaker is Dr. Ameya Conte, and he's actually the real doctor for this topic. And he can say the more the scientific, because then everyone talking about the scientific aspect. So this time to Dr. Conte, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Um, I'm the final year resident of hematology and oncology, and my future's perspective are stem cell transplantation, which is the ultimate cure for blood cancer. So, we have cancer that is like at least one one in from the every 7 people in the Europe will hear those words in their lifetime. Uh, each who have very good prognosis, which you can heal or which you can cure, and there are some cancers which do not have a very good prognosis. It all depends on at the stage, at the time of diagnosis, and the patient's overall condition. So if you have a patient who has a cancer diagnosed, but but that patient is in very good shape, like he doesn't have any other comorbidities, like he doesn't have any heart disease or cardiovascular comorbidities or lung disease. The patient has very healthy lifestyle. He doesn't smoke or he doesn't have any liquor abuses. In that case, it increases the chances that the patient will respond to the treatment very well. On the other hand, if you have a multimorbid patient who has a history of heart disease, who has a history of diabetes, who has a history of lung disease because of smoking or anything, the chances that this patient will not respond very good to the treatment are above above 50%. So when we say about diagnosing the cancer, it is very important that we also spread awareness in the society that cancer is a multifactorial disease. It does not just caused because of genetic mutation, but it's also caused by overall having lifestyle problems. So obesity, for example, obesity is one of the leading cause of any disease. Let it be cancer, let it be diabetes, let it be cardiovascular diseases. Then having obesity causes why? Because of lack of exercise. For that is one of the main reasons. Apart from having unhealthy foods, junk foods, etc. Or we need to prevent cancer. We need to promote having a healthy lifestyle. And yoga is one of the way which you can promote to be healthy. Uh, I would put here some points which are statistically proven for cancer patients and which are statistically proven for them to fight cancer in a more efficient way. So having a good lifestyle, apart from having cancer, is one of the key factor in fighting cancer. So what does exercise or yoga do with the immune system? So the goal of strengthening immune system is to keep all of the body system working together. It's like a cascade. For example, in a village, failure of any one system threaten the health of the whole community. So that's how it works. Cancer therapies that seek strengthen the immune system are increasingly proving to be helpful in fighting variety rates of cancer. There is a research that shows yoga boosts immunity. So in 2013, there was a study in Norway that found it has been found that the regular practice of gentle yoga and meditation has rapid effect of genetic level in circulating cancer fighting immune cells. Mindfulness meditation is also appeared to change the brain and immune function in a positive way. So the patient is more motivated if we do any kind of exercises of yoga. So he has a motivation that I can be fit. I need to be fit so that I can fight and I can fight the cancer, and I can respond to the treatment very well. So that's why it is very important. Second thing is yoga helps in detoxifying the body. So what is detoxification? Is it is the vital metabolic process uh, by which the dead cell and toxins are excreted from the body. Um, Yoga, it is a combination of various exercises and also meditation. Is the You can say yoga is the key factor in the detoxification of the body, because it helps to clean the various lymphatic fluids in the body, and thus helping in detoxifying the toxins. There was also a study, I guess, through Dr. Iyengar. It is about squeeze and soak process, which clean the internal organs in the same way that a sponge discharges dirt when we squeeze. For example, abdominal twist can activate internal organs and guide the release of toxins in the lymphatic system. So yoga is in a way very helpful for detoxification of the bodies. Then there is another example that yoga builds bone. So how are strong bones linked to the cancer prevention? That is the question. Our bone houses the bone marrow, where new red and white blood cells are constantly being produced. So our bone is a home of the bone marrow, from where actually the blood is produced. Uh, Cancer treatments are very toxic to the bone marrow, because cancer treatments can, like chemotherapy, they work against every cell which is being rapidly regenerated. So the drug cannot distinguish between normal healthy cell and cancer cell. It will just destroy every cell which is being rapidly regenerated. So it's not just limited to the cancer cells, but also limited to the other. It also have a side effect on the other cells like bone marrow, or it also has a side effect on the gastrointestinal mucosa. So as a side effect of that, bone marrow gets suppressed, so you don't produce enough amount of blood, or enough amount of your immune system. So what there plays yoga a role. Uh, White blood cells, as I said, needed from the leukocytes or our natural cancer-fighting immune cells. Our bone are comprised from a break from osteoporosis, because if you have less bone density, the bone are tend to be broken. Uh, there was a study by Lauren Fishman, MD in Canada, um, applied yoga practice to suffer osteoporosis and osteopenia. Uh, the results were shocking, because it showed that 85% of the yoga practitioners gained bone in both spine and hip region, while nearly every member of the control group here, you cannot apply any placebo group, but in a control group, in the control group, there were patients who did not perform any kind of exercises of yoga. In that group, they either maintained their bone mass, or on the contrary, they lost their bone mass. So we can say from this study that yoga is a safer way for strong bones, and any other than any other exercises, because cancer patients are weak. Sometimes they cannot get off the bed, and you cannot send them to gym routines or to physiotherapy centers to get back on their feet. So yoga is a very healthy way for these people to get back on their feet, and to gain their bone densities and to get mobile. Another studies from 2009 of cancer survival development tested a concept that measures how well respond post-traumatic stress growth. We all know that stress is a very important factor in every disease, let it be cardiovascular diseases, because stress induces hypertension and increase the risk of heart diseases, or diabetes, because a person having more under stress, or any mental abnormal conditions, tend to eat more and tend to gain more weight, and thus leading to obesity. Similar way, stress can also induce cancer. So in this study, it was shows that the positive flip side to suffering with stress. This growth occurs when people make traumatic event a pivotal point in their life, changing their situation by making, for example, lemonade out of lemon. So if you have lemon, you got to make lemonade out of them, it like that. Ultimately, thriving after cancer, for instance. The thriving survivor enjoy their blissful moments when they can lead to further change and ability to find positive ways to manage stress. So in a way, stress can be cured by yoga. And as I said, obesity is cause of the very other problems, very other health issues. Yoga is a weight management. Uh, Obesity, as I said, is not the largest indicator of the both cancer incidence and recurrence in the world. So, if a person is being overweight or being obese is clearly linked with increased risk of several type of cancer. Uh, the American Care Society recommends that obese individuals should walk at least 300 minutes per week to reduce the chances of cancer or recurrence. So based on that, research on the impact of yoga on weight gain it's still in the early stages because there are no being very much evidences on that. One study shows that yoga had more positive impact on obesity and depression than any other aerobic exercises. While yoga for cancer survival often focus on gentle or restorative yoga methods, which are necessary and beneficial approach, I say, it can and it should be active, and therefore it is very important in calorie burning. While on the other side, it is also being very safe. It is physically accessible, welcoming, and inclusive. You don't need any equipment for that, so that yoga can help cancer survival manage their weight gain, which improves self-esteem and the ability to function normally, and ultimately reduces the risk and recurrence in the mortality. Uh, the benefits for yoga for cancer prevention are profound and well substantiated. For yoga teachers who work with cancer survivors and those in treatment, having specific about the benefits and modification for this community is necessary. So you cannot. That's why you need to differentiate between teaching yoga for normal population and teaching yoga for the cancer patient, because their needs are different, their requirements are different, and their physical conditions are different. So there you should pay more attention of performing little low intense yoga for cancer patients. And one more important factor is as Dr. Anita said, um, she did breathing yogas when she was on her treatment. So breathing is very important in fighting any cancer treatment, because the chemotherapy or the radiation therapy tend to affect your lungs to a certain extent. And if you do yoga, or if you do pranayama or breathing exercise at the regular interval, you tend to have a healthy lung. And healthy lung means less risk of infection, because you don't have a functional immune system in cancer treatment, so you tend to get infections very quickly. So having you doing yoga or doing pranayam help you to have a healthy lung, and thus preventing the chances of getting a pneumonia, for example. So it is also a very important factor in considering a supportive care for cancer patients.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. It was really excellent information that how the science and yoga works together, and you put very nicely in frame. Thank you very much. And we are proud that you are in Hamburg, so we can keep in touch anytime.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Now our last speaker, Dr. Shyam Kanpat Tikhe. Dr. Shyam Kanpat Tikhe and I were the classmate in 2001 to 3, but I was in 2001 to 2 only in Bihar School of Yoga, Bihar Yoga Bharati. So Dr. Shyam Kanpat Tikhe has completed his Master of Science degrees in Applied Yogic Science and postgraduate diploma in yoga education from Bihar Yoga Bharati Munger. He has qualified UGC NET in yoga and he has awarded PhD in yoga for stress management from Vivekananda Yoga Anushandhan Samsthan, Vyasa, Bangalore. He has published more than 40 research papers in this field of yoga. So, Dr. Shyam Kanpat Tikhe ji.
So my humble pranam and my humble namaskar, namaste to one and all. Sarvabhyo namo namaha. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. With your kind permission, can I have a presentation? Shall I share the screen?
Yes, please, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So maybe it says that.
Yeah, now you can do, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it is visible.
Not yet.
Maybe. Rajeshi, is it visible?
No, no, it's not visible.
Okay. So once again, I will just once again try. I'll try my best. Screen sharing has, okay. Is it fine?
No, we cannot see.
It says that, okay. It says that screen sharing has failed to start. Please retry. Okay. So maybe I'll try PDF if possible. I have both the, okay. PDF is visible?
No, we cannot see your screen.
Not yet.
So you can go without the screen sharing. It's no problem.
Yes. That will no problem. Okay. Screen sharing. I'm trying my level best to share the screen, but I'm failed to do that. Maybe.
Mishra ji, you can make Doctor as a co-host, then it will be easy for him to share the screen. Just make him the co-host and then he can share the screen.
Okay.
Okay.
You can go up. Unki jo his name is there, na? Click on that. Then you can see that make co-host. Then you can make him co-host. Then he can share the screen.
They're saying make the host.
No, if you make the host again, he has to make you the host back. So,
but there is no facilities that make the host.
Yeah, maybe you can make him the host. Then he can share his screen, and then he can make you the host back.
I did.
Yeah. Now, Doctor, you can.
Yeah.
After you finish the presentation, you can make Mishraji the host back.
Yeah. Okay.
Simple.
Yeah. It's fine. Is it now share the screen?
Now you
is
can
there?
share the screen. Now you go to share the screen, and you can share the screen.
Okay. So. Is it screen is there?
No, we cannot
No,
see.
not yet. No.
Not yet, not yet.
Maybe I'll.
I will suggest you can start, just you don't need to share, just you
Okay.
can see yourself.
Shall I send the PPT to you?
No, you can do you can try this. It's okay. We will listen you, that we will understand. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Okay. So maybe just without sharing, maybe I will try my level best.
Please.
Yeah. So first of all, I give my humble pranams and my namaskar to one and all here, dignitaries, including Dr. Rajesh Mishra ji and other team members of Shaktya, a charitable organization for international understanding, tolerance, and intellectual exchange. Uh, Maybe regarding, am I audible, Rajesh ji?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Worldwide, more than 14 million people are diagnosed with, and more than 8.2 million people die from cancer each year. Behavioral risk factors such as high body mass index, tobacco use, physical inactivity, unhealthy diets, and excessive use of alcohol contribute to cancer etiologic progression and outcomes. Moreover, chronic stress and depression can have direct and indirect effect on cancer by changing biology and influencing behaviors. Cancer diagnosis and treatment can also increase distress and cause biomedical changes such as pain, sleep disturbances, fatigue, and also chemotherapy induced immunosuppression.
On yoga classes.
Yeah. Some consequences of cancer are temporary, but many persist, leaving patients to manage long term. So, yoga, I would like to come to the part of yoga. Research has demonstrated that yoga intervention can improve psychological distress, quality of life, physical function, and some biological outcomes among adults receiving cancer patients. Notably, I have gone through many research papers, and none of the trials in yoga cancer care research reported any adverse events. Uh, s- Suggested yoga module for cancer care includes Pawan Muktasana, Surya Namaskar, slow, with mantra and breathing pattern, Nadi Shodhan Pranayam and Brahmari Pranayam, including Ujjayi as well, will be the very beneficial techniques found according to the research papers. Trataka helps to reduce the tension, stress, and Swami Satyananji has also suggested Amroli. Actually, it is a part of naturopathy. Amroli. Maybe I don't know how many of us may be knowing this technique. Amroli is a technique of maybe auto urine therapy, you can say. Uh, and in meditation, we have Antarmon, one of the best meditation technique useful for cancer patients. And Yog Nidra, of course, is one of the best technique for cancer patients. I feel that it is a part of yoga, as says in Patanjali Sutra, Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshanam Sukha Dukha Punya Punya Vishanam Bhavanatah Chitta Prasadanam. Actually, there is a behavioral techniques is available. The person with the friendship should have friendship uh, with the happy people, then automatically the atmosphere becomes very light and comfortable. Nowadays we forget to even give a smile as well. So Hasyasan, one of the best technique in yoga is Hasyasan. Smile with divine smile on the face always is one of the very, very important technique. And and I feel uh, yoga is a lifestyle. Yoga is an ideal lifestyle. It includes how we yukta hara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Yoga is possible to heal even deep rooted the problems, the root cause of the problems of cancer, if possible, it is possible only when we are regular in our diet, regular in our eating, regular in our habits, all the habits, regular ideal lifestyle. So I feel that this is one of the technique, yoga, which is useful in cancer patients, uh, including, but I feel that yoga with the help of naturopathy and ayurveda will be the ideal combination for the treatment, for integrated approach of yoga therapy. So we don't have to care just only, not to care only annamay kosh, that means this body, but we have to take care of pranamay, manomay, vigyanmay, even the anandamay kosh. That is what we are looking for, integrated approach of yoga therapy. And looking, and I can say that according to Swami Shivananda, he says that yoga is balance and harmony in our HHH: head, heart, hands. So when there is balance in our head, heart, and hands, that means head means Gyan Yoga, heart means Bhakti Yoga, and hands means Karma Yoga. When there is balance between in this our thoughts, words, and deeds, then it happens. Yoga happens automatically. We don't have to do it; it happens. So it's a balance and harmony in our thoughts, words, and deeds. Is a balance and harmony in our body, breath, and mind. So I even remember the simplest form of definition of yoga is MMM, mastery over monkey mind. Or in other words, yoga is also known as chitta vritti nirodh. And even for cancer patients, we can say mana prashamana upaya, how to make the mind calm and comfortable. That is the part of doing yoga practices. And I feel that when we are able to use proper exercise, proper breathing, proper relaxation, proper diet, and positive thinking with any type of meditation, including Om meditation, it will definitely relax the body, slow down the breath, and calm down the mind. This is what we are looking for, the integrated approach of yoga therapy. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. PK. Thank you very much. So
Welcome.
we are at the end. So I would like to say thank you to our Vice Consul, Mr. Bhushan Dhingra, sir,
No, thank you, Mishra ji.
Dr. Ishwar Baswa Reddy ji, Mr. Parminder ji, and
Thank you very much, Mishra ji. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
It was so wonderful.
Ajit, TK ji, and Dr. Amarya. Thank you very much to all of you. Even you are able to join on short notice. And that's why we are like the family, and the Indian style family, like with short notice, we always get together. But it's always nice that we plan in ahead. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Mishra ji. Yeah.
Thank you, Mishra.
TKG, can you make me host again so that I can download them? Thank you, sir.
May 1st. Yeah. Is it fine?
Yes, now it's fine. Thank you. Many thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh ji.